Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The mayor has called the meeting to order. Mayor Davey,
Here.
Councilmember Kaplan,
I'm here.
Councilmember Laredo,
Here.
Councilmember London. No. Councilmember McCormick,
Not yet.
Councilmember Moss, excuse me. Councilmember Moss,
He's there.
Councilmember Segurola.
Here.
Do we want to wait a few minutes, Mr. Mayor, or do you want to?
Well, we may as well. There's really nothing to do until we're all sitting down figuring out.
There was one question, Jocelyn, that we discussed when you were not on, that in the memo you sent for this meeting, you did not have the 26th of January on.
Sorry, I'll fix that mistake.
So there'll be the 12th and the 26th, right?
That's
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My apologies.
No, it's okay.
Well, we do have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Right. Okay. I just want to the agenda. I'm just pulling. Sorry, I'm pulling up the agenda for this and getting away from the agenda for the last. All right. So I thought this was fairly straightforward. I thought we were just going to get an ad and we were going to get it out, but apparently we can't do that. What are the thoughts on the ad? Anybody?
I think the ad is very good. It needs an edit or 2 or 3 or 10, and it's ready to go, in my opinion. It's very good, and it's what I'd hoped we'd be able to produce ourselves. But I've got some edits, and I think it needs
Okay.
My view,
I'm sorry, Councilmember Laredo?
yeah, my view, and I thought that's what we were going to do, is all this glossy stuff, which is expensive and nice pictures and soft language and all of that. And we were going to do just one pager, sort of what I guess a little bit of what London, Vice Mayor London proposed. Just edited it and then just put it out in some ads in black and white. One page, not this other glossy and all the goodies and all that stuff. People know about us. Everybody knows how wonderful we are. Everybody who is have the ear to the ground at a bad market is looking forward to. So I think
Frank,
the other one is superfluous.
I understand. I mean, for me, I hear what you're saying. I think it's a one pager, but I mean, if we're sending this out, we're not publishing this in a paper, right? We're just sending this to ICMA, right?
ICMA.
And League of Cities.
Okay, so, and the League of Cities, but we're just sending them an email to send out, right? So this is not something we're paying per page. So if they want to attach some information about our community, I don't think it hurts us necessarily. I would agree with you. I don't want to pay any extra for something where if somebody's interested, they ought to be looking into us anyway. And what kind of edits? I mean, I see Ed's edits. Were there other edits by other people that we could?
I think it could be.
On Ed's thing, he uses the word political astute. I like to take that word out.
Politically astute. Okay.
I think that's a little. I mean, that whole sentence probably can come out.
Funny that Ed suggested it being politically astute himself.
You want to keep it?
No, I have no problem with that. Josh, are you, Madam Clerk, will you take notes on this?
Is the manager on with us?
Yes, I'm
she's
here.
right there.
Good evening.
She's on a tropical island somewhere.
All right, so my view of this is that we're soliciting interest. If we're going to do this as we intended to do, the community materials are good. They should be included. I think there's too much and it's too redundant.
Yeah.
I wish we had gotten a Word version of this so we could have simply marked it up. It would make this meeting a lot simpler, I think, more efficient. But I think we could carve out a number of words, eliminate some redundancies, and get it out.
We have Jessica on the line, right? Jessica's here. She's our communications person. Could we task her with that? I mean, she's from the Key. She understands Key Biscayne.
I have my markup. I could give it to Jessica, and I would trust her to do what she thinks is best.
We've also got Ed's, and yeah, because I mean, look, I think we're spending an awful lot of time on something
Yeah,
that we need to get out and get moving on. All right,
I
Frank,
support that.
where do you have, Frank, have you submitted your edits to the clerk?
No, I have them in
Okay.
handwriting on a PDF. And part of the issue, this looks like it's a scan. There's a number of word.
I think you said it looks like a scam.
Scan,
Like-
scan. No
Don't tell
scam.
anybody that.
Yeah. No, there's a number of like hyphenated words and word break problems and
Okay.
words that are supposed to be a letter and they're not the same.
Oh, I see. I was thinking, you're right. I apologize. I was looking at this, yeah. You could take out the whole village manager position. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I would like some information about the community as a one pager, and then this is what we expect in another page, and boom, let's get going.
Yeah, I think, for example, the village manager position category is redundant when you read the about the candidate category.
Right.
They cover the same ground and we can make
Yeah.
it once, say it once,
Yeah.
and shorten this thing substantially and have a polished product that will go out and render us proud.
All right. Madam Manager, can you direct Jessica to take a shot at this with the edits from Frank and Ed and sort of incorporate those things and get it to us so we can look at it? You seem hesitant.
I mean, we could go Jessica. I mean, I think I would encourage somebody like Juan that has a little bit more HR experience. I don't know that it's appropriate to have communications unless we're just focusing on who we are. That portion, yes, but I think
Well, that's really the who we are. I mean, I think the edits for what we're looking for are coming from Frank and Ed. Does anybody else have edits that they'd like to add in?
right.
I mean,
correct.
Councilmember Laredo just made a point. Let's make our points now, get them in, submit them now. Let's get
Yeah,
this going.
I have to say this about this, Mayor. You're right. We need to move this. We're looking like, I like most of the stuff, the summary of Ed's thing. I think political astute sounds bad. And I want to make one last suggestion, which is, as we now have the mandate from the voters on the bond, which means we need to move to a public works agenda. I think we should say something about people with experience in actually public works. In other words,
Right.
actually
Projects,
doing that. And that has to
large
be-
infrastructure projects or infrastructure projects, experience with infrastructure projects.
No, project management on large infrastructure projects.
Good.
And
Capital improvement projects.
Madam Manager, I know that this is probably another indiscreet thing that I'm going to say as usual, but I had hoped, and I know it's a very bad position to put you in, but when we concluded the last meeting, I know you're reluctant to get involved because, professionally, but I thought the reverse. I thought that because your experience, you're a professional, you can do all the right words. And you know us all, you didn't work with Kaplan, but now you work with the rest of us, what we want and what we articulate. But I guess you feel that you're crossing some sort of line there, right? I see your reluctance. Because that would help. Besides the glossy stuff, which, she can do and all that. And I agree, let's just move it. Am
Yeah,
I
think the
reading you wrong?
key for me and in my experience trying to support and serve the council has been trying to figure out where that common consensus is as to what you're looking for with regard to education, experience, background. What do you want to accomplish? And I think, in the next 6 months, 1 to 3 year horizon, 3 to 5 year horizon, I think those are the types of questions that once we find consensus amongst council, it would be very informative for the candidates that are interested to be able to apply.
Okay. Mayor, I think your suggestion is great. Let's just move on because those things we probably can do after we get the applications in.
So the question
we cannot procrastinate.
The one question that we can't ask Andrea to answer is the return date.
Yeah, I saw that from you, Frank. You wrote something about maybe extending it longer. Because we do have a holiday that we're going to be between.
I mean, realistically, if we're going to introduce a real solicitation designed to get interest, sincerely, we can't have a return date in the midst of the Thanksgiving holiday.
So let's pick a date.
I think that's right. And I think that
The
we
10
really are
sorry,
so
Bob.
committed to wanting to get this right that I'm inclined to push out longer and make sure that we're really, if we're going to do it, that we're going to actually do it and solicit as much as we can and really find the right person. And if it pushes us into needing to have an interim for a short time, did I freeze? Some of you
You
look
didn't
good.
freeze, you're good.
It's
No.
December 8th, which is our meeting.
My stunning insight froze everyone's faces, maybe. So I think that we need to push it out a bit.
I
When do
mean,
you
Well, I
think we
think that's
can-
right. The 10 days did not start. We haven't put out an ad. I don't think.
I know,
when-
but
when's
I
the
don't
day
think
that
the
we
days is
put out an
sufficient
ad?
anyway. I mean, we're just gonna have to be realistic about this.
I mean, what are
About
we
the
going
8th
to
of
do
December.
after we get responses in the midst of impending Christmas and Hanukkah and all of that? I don't think we're going to be doing any serious movement on this during that period of time.
But we'll have time to review these things. Why
I
don't we
think,
put
yeah,
a
let's
date out?
see, exactly right. Let's take some time to review. All of us are going to try and reach out to these people. That's going to take some time. I think we're going to, it will
Friday the
take us some
11th?
time. Right.
It's Friday the 11th.
I was actually thinking maybe the 18th. Because that gives us time to review it before we meet again in January. And that gives us
January.
time.
And
I'm fine with that as long, let's get an ad out.
But the question is, how fast can we get out the ad? Are we talking about like in 2 or 3 days, we should be able to send this out?
I'm thinking tomorrow, I can get my
Yes.
comments to the
Okay.
village tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and there's 10
Right.
of them. I think in fairness, if Jessica is going to be responsible for turning it, you all should see it again, last looks, have a chance to say, I disagree with this, or I like that, or whatever.
A leap of faith, otherwise we're not gonna get, I delegate my vote to you and to the mayor. And
Well,
to
I
let
can
them-
get these, I can get my comments
Need to
in.
go
I think,
out.
just so you know, mine are not as spared out as Ed's. I think Ed cut too much. I want to reduce the redundancy, as I said, talk once about the prototypical excellent candidate, not twice. Say something about the community, but less.
Well,
And that's
let's do
basically
that
it.
then.
No
Frank, if you can
salary.
take a shot at it as well. Luis, if you can send your comments in by tomorrow morning, let's get another one sent around. Everybody give a final look and then let's move on it. I agree we want to do this right, but I want to do it.
Yeah.
So let's get moving. Let's get our comments in. I think the 18th is a good date. I think that's a good idea.
That's
Because
like
that
4
would give
weeks,
us a
huh?
few weeks over the break to be reviewing and taking a look and maybe calling some people and meeting with those people we're really interested in. And then come
Where
back.
is
and
Ed?
then-
Is he Ed with us or no?
I don't know where Ed is. I lost him.
What day is our first council meeting? Is it the 12th of January?
12th.
Yeah, so
12th,
that gives us
January
a nice week after the New Year's to be calling.
Right.
and
No,
talking.
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Sorry, the 18th or the 23rd, did we say?
No, the 18th
18th, the
18.
18th.
of
Friday.
December.
That's a Friday. The last week before Christmas, nobody's going to be doing anything. I mean, that's,
Okay.
you know, and I'll, that's, you know,
Segurola, how about you?
The most important thing is when the ad gets out, unfortunately, best case scenario, we put this together and we all approve it tomorrow. But what happens if we don't? It keeps pushing it out even more.
But I mean, why can't we just approve it now and if there's some twinkling with the. have you seen Ed?
Because when you see the final product, that's when you decide. Sounds fine by me, because most of the questions I have are, aside from adding that the candidate needs plenty of experience with construction projects
Yeah.
and management. Aside from adding that to the ad, the rest of the questions are things that I think will be asked verbally in interviews. But we still have to put together the ad. And it'd be great to get it out tomorrow, but just in case it doesn't, then you're looking into getting it out Monday, realistically, given the holiday. And then how much time are you going to give after that? So
well, we were talking about only giving 10 days. That would give at least 18, 19,
now,
19 days.
now, 10 days, is that going to be enough sandwiched in between two major holidays, Thanksgiving and
Yeah.
Christmas
19
and,
days.
We're going for 4 weeks almost.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
But look, there are people already committed, took the
Right, we've
initiative,
got-
which speaks very loud to me,
Correct.
applying. let's
And there's
get it
people-
out.
And there's people that don't
Ignacio?
know. There's,
Yeah,
I'm playing
I don't
devil's
know that
advocate.
we can criticize people who haven't replied yet when we
I'm not
haven't
criticizing.
really fully
Yeah,
asked.
It's not
but
out
I
there.
think it's-
Realistically speaking, if you were to ask me, from the way this has panned out, we're looking for a reply date by December 31st to then start doing interviews in the beginning of January, to then have our discussion on January 12th. That's the way I see it. If you really want to put it out there and give people time to reply. Then this arbitrary.
I make a motion
this-
that we put out that we do December 18th as previously suggested by the mayor, and
Councilmember
that
Moss.
be the deadline,
Okay,
December 18th.
That'll
all
work.
right.
So
Alright.
Ignacio, are you saying you feel like you
Second.
want more time than that?
Yeah,
wants more
I want
I'm
more
sort
time.
of inclined to, don't fall out of that chair, Ignacio. I'm inclined to agree with Ignacio on this one. I think
Wow.
that, yeah, it's something, right?
Let's talk about,
I think that we're going to end up getting into an interim manager. And if we want to get it right, what is honestly like, you're talking about a few more days when you're talking about hiring
Yeah,
the
we're
CEO
in it
for the
already.
next few
Exactly.
years.
I vote for the 28th or the
Alright.
30th.
So remember, guys,
Okay.
we're not gonna vote. It's just gonna be consensus, so we
It's
could have
just
the
gonna be
meeting
a
virtually.
consensus of council, right? I understood.
I like Ignacio's suggestion, and I stand with Allison and Ignacio. And
To
the-
Your
Ignacio's-
January 1st is Friday.
Well, the
January
31st
28th
is,
28th is Monday, so take your pick. If you want, make it the 28th Monday. And then that gives, but you still got New Year's Eve. Yeah, you got Thanksgiving, the
You might as
Jewish
well just make
holiday.
it the 31st, the end of December, and that's it.
Yeah.
Now,
December
remember,
31st.
you're
for everybody
gonna
to
be
remember.
you're gonna be getting resumes and statements of interest in the meantime. It's not like the mail
That's
is going
right.
to come on the last day.
that's
in
right.
the interest of consensus, I
Orange whip, orange
I
whip,
withdraw
orange
the
whip. All right,
18th.
31st.
31st.
Fine.
All
I'll
right,
be
so
over at the
guys, let's get
village.
this. Frank,
I'll
let's
be-
get your comments. Everybody get your comments to Juan tonight or tomorrow morning, please.
Mine already got in. I mean, we just gotta get look at Ed's stuff,
Well, Ed's is in. Ed sent his comments
We
because they're
got Ed's.
attached.
I
Okay.
think Ed cut too much. I'm gonna cut less, but I'm gonna cut some.
I don't want reference to money.
No, I agree with that. I think
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
agree
And I
with
would
that.
say, Frank, I don't know what your comments are gonna be, but I like the fact, should possess a bachelor's degree and have government or business or military experience. I think that's enough. We're gonna make the decision as to who we want.
And
And I
public
don't
works
want us to get
experience.
too particular. I don't want somebody to be excluded because we put so many parameters in place. I understand you're trying to go for a certain goal, and certainly there's experience that we want them to have, knowledge, skills, and ability.
I
But I wouldn't
strongly
say too
disagree with
particular
that.
than
I strongly
I
disagree.
would, sorry, I want to add also, having just done this with a search firm and not going without, we're going to get everyone. And if someone feels like they could do the job and they're the person that don't tick every box, they're going to send it and we're going to see it. Whereas if we went through a search firm, if we were super restrictive on our ad, it wouldn't get
Right.
to us.
Okay, fair enough.
So
It's
Fair
not
enough.
if you come
restrictive.
across someone that you feel really strongly you want to make a case among the seven of us that although they didn't tick box A or box B, but they're your guy or your gal, whatever, you're going to see it. But I think
Right. Okay,
we
that's
have
fair.
some pretty
That's fair.
clear understanding of what we're going to need in the next 3 to 5 years, and it's a pretty high bar. And I think you want to portray that in the ad.
I think
That's
you want to
fair.
portray that in the ad, and that has something
right.
to do with the attributes of the person that we think will be successful.
I
But
stand.
all
It's
that
not-
translate to public works experience and
Yes, public
Okay,
works.
I
Oh,
agree.
absolutely. I think infrastructure projects, absolutely. That's the kind of stuff I think we need to have. Yeah.
Like, for example, it was a mistake to include a master's in public or a bachelor's in
That's
public
right.
administration. That's a dumb idea.
I agree.
That's too restrictive. That means
Agreed.
if they have a master, if
Well,
they
that-
have a bachelor's. in business
Frank, that was
administration-
my point. Like, I didn't want us to be too restricted, but the experience and the knowledge, I certainly want us to have. All right.
Okay.
Does everybody understand what we're doing? Juan, do you understand? Jessica, do you understand? Manager, do you understand?
I do understand, and I'm committed to working with Jessica in the morning to
Appreciate it.
finalize the ad and get it out to you guys for review.
I'll be there
Awesome.
early. I'll see you.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm sorry, can
night.
I ask one question? I know everyone wants to go, but I have a quick question.
Yeah,
I
sure,
got on
go.
late. I had to throw dinner on the table for my family between meetings, so I was late. But did we have a discussion about when we're going to talk about what we want to do in terms of any procedures, like with background check, or I don't know if anyone else has had an opportunity to speak with Chief Lang about some of the services he uses. He and I sat down, and he had this one service he uses that does like a sort of benchmarking objective interview that gives really interesting sort of data about people's attributes and sort of personality, if you will. And I'd love to see if we could do a piece like that, since we're not using a search firm. And if you guys talked about wanting to talk about that a little further down the road, because this has been a long night already, that's okay with me. But I just wanted to ask if we talked about it at all.
No, why don't we put it on for the 8th? Let's do that as a discussion for the meeting on the 8th.
Okay, I would suggest that if anyone has time in the interim to
No,
talk
absolutely.
to Lang about what he shared with me, and also I plan on asking Juan about what they use, and if in your own businesses you have any experience of things that you've used. I think we're going to need that piece. I think it's kind of crucial.
I agree.
The most interesting part of it is what you said about the psychological, the personal evaluation. That's secret sauce stuff. That's not the same thing as a Dun and Bradstreet search.
Yeah.
So we'll have that discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that part of that discussion should be the overall process that we might, I don't know if anybody has thought the whole process out all the way to the end, and how we're gonna reduce each groups down and things like that. So maybe we should add that same discussion.
We'll do it.
The 8th.
All right. Yeah.
The 8th, correct.
Correct.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Motion
All right,
to
folks.
adjourn. See you.
Good night.
Good night. Happy
Let's go.
Thanksgiving.
Have a good
everybody.
night.
Thank you. Happy
Good night,
Thanksgiving.
everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
See you all.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Bye-bye.